Thank you, Pamela. I'm doing very, very well. Hi to everybody that's connected. We're really excited to be a part of this community with you guys and be able to share this tool that is Kiva with you because we strongly believe in its potential to support your businesses and your efforts to move your businesses and organizations forward. First, I'm going to speak a little bit about Causa Local. Pamela mentioned that I am part of the organization called Causa Local, and I wanted to explain a little bit how we relate to Kiva so you guys understand that. We are a basic nonprofit organization here in Puerto Rico. And our mission is to identify and share with you guys different alternatives to access to capital, non-traditional capital, meaning that we want to provide you guys with opportunities to grow your businesses or start your businesses without having to go to a bank. If you're not in a position to go to a bank, maybe you have a bad credit score, maybe you're just in a rough situation that you can't or you don't feel comfortable knocking on the door of a bank. So we have some alternatives for you guys, and Kiva is a separate organization that is based in San Francisco, California, but they are a global platform, a global crowd lending platform that we're going to go into detail in a bit. And here in Puerto Rico, we are the ones that host Kiva, for example. Causa Local is the Puerto Rican host of Kiva, in essence, okay? So we have deployed over $1 million in small business loans of 0% interest. This is one of the biggest and most important details about the Kiva loans. There are 0% interest. And we've supported over 200 entrepreneurs here in Puerto Rico. That $1 million that we have deployed have created over $1.5 million in economic impact here in Puerto Rico. And our dream and our hope is that we can not only grow this community here in Puerto Rico, but we can extend this opportunity to our neighboring islands, you know, that we are very close and we go through the same struggles. So we want to make sure that you guys have access to these tools as well. So I'm going to show you a short video about Kiva, and then I'm going to give you guys a tour of the website while I explain what this is all about to you. And then we are going to have an amazing guest who is one of our most amazing Kiva doers, Roberto Rivera. So I'll plug him in as soon as we're ready for him. So let me go ahead and share this window.
People around the world work hard every day.
Choose a borrower. Magpairam. ¿Recibe su dinero?
Repeats.
All right, so this video is directed mostly to people who want to lend on Kiva. And I wanted to show this video because I think it's a great tool for you guys to get a feeling about what we're going to be talking about in the next couple of minutes. And for those of you who are not ready or not in a position to need a loan from Kiva, I really want to encourage you to log on to the platform and become a lender. Because as you saw in the video, and you're going to see, you know, our over 200 Puerto Rican entrepreneurs There are a lot of people that are raising their loans on Kiva that need our help, and this is an amazing way to support our local economies directly, okay? So I'm going to show you guys, and let me just check in to make sure that we are good. No questions so far, okay. So let's go ahead and check out the website. I wanted to show you guys directly the website because I think this is the best way for you to get familiar with this platform. The whole process of Kiva is done virtually. You apply online, and it's a very easy process. You know, if you have the information that you need, it's quite an easy process. I wanted to emphasize, you know, Kiva has 3 main objectives, and we at Causa Local follow them to heart as well. First of all is to increase access to capital for all of those small and medium business owners that are kind of, you know, outside of the bubble, that is capable of going to a traditional bank to get some money for their business. So this is a space for those entrepreneurs and business owners that need money to create or to grow their businesses, but for whatever reason, do not feel comfortable with or are not capable of going to a bank for a loan. One of the things that's very interesting about Kiva is that the decision to select your application or approve your application is not based on your credit score. They don't ask for collateral. It's very much based on your character and reputation in your community and how you leverage that community to support you and your business. We're going to get a little bit more into that soon. So the second point that I wanted to make to you guys was that other than provide more access to capital, you know, to people that are outside of those bubbles that can access the traditional capital, Kiva wants to reduce the cost of that access to capital for business owners like you. When you go to a traditional bank or a traditional institution, you have to pay interest and you have to, you know, compromise a lot of what you're doing to be able to get that loan. So what Kiva wants to do is to eliminate that barrier of cost, you know, to access capital. So that's why those loans are 0% interest. If I loan you $25, you get the whole 25, and I get my whole 25 back when you repay your loan. And lastly, but not less important, one of the biggest things about Kiva is the community. You can see that this is a global platform. People all around the world are raising their loans in Kiva, and people all around the world are lending through Kiva. So this is something that can open your eyes, can open your business to potential new clients and collaborators and peers that are going through the same things that you are in the same industries or in other industries. So those are the biggest objectives that Kiva have. And now we're going to check this website out a little bit. As I mentioned, everything in regards to this application is done virtually. So when you're ready to start the application, you just push the Get Started button and you get started. I wanna talk to you about the process of applying to these loans for a little bit. These loans are from $1,000 up to $15,000. Again, at 0% interest. And like they say here, there's no catch. It's just like that. Kiva is a nonprofit and they're not looking to make money out of you, and the people that lend in Kiva are not looking to make money out of you. And like I mentioned, this is a great space for you to market and access new customers and new potential collaborators, because a lot of people are going to have an understanding of what your business is, and most importantly about who you are. So that's something that's really big with Kiva. You can check out the website on your own time and look at all of these examples. I'm going to go over a few of our local examples in a bit, but you can just kind of roam around the website as you'd like and see the different quotes and such. The process is very simple, and we'll talk first about that application. That application, if you have all the materials that you need, is going to be ready very soon. And what are those materials that you need? First and foremost, you need some document that demonstrates that your business or your organization is legal, you know, that it's registered legally in your place of living. And that's all they're going to ask. They're not going to ask bank statements or nothing like that. They're just going to ask you, you know, to share something with them that lets them be sure that your business actually exists. Other than those documents, the Kiva application is also going to ask you about your numbers. You know, what's your business looking like in terms of its numbers. If it's a new business, they're going to ask a little bit about your personal finances as well, because at the end of the day, this is a loan that needs to be repaid. So they want to make sure that that you are in a position to repay that loan that you're asking for. And one thing that happens, you know, further along the process when Kiva is evaluating your application is that maybe you ask for 15,000, but because of the numbers and the financials that you shared in that part of the application, they see that maybe 15,000 is too much. So they lowered that quantity maybe to 7,000 or 6,000. So you're in a better position to be able to repay. Again, this is a place that wants to help you and wants to support you, not get you, you know, in a stressful position of not being able to repay your loan. So it's very important that if you don't have it, work on that business plan, work on those numbers, because they want to know that you know the numbers. They want to trust you with a lot of money that you're going to be raising. So they want to make sure that you have those answers for them. So before you start your application or during your application, make sure that you have those documents and that information handy, so you can expedite this process. Another part of that application has to do with who you are, what your business is about, and what you need the money for. We're going to see a few examples soon, but Kiva really banks on the photo. They are going to ask you for a photo. This is going to look like some sort of social media profile. They want to see your face. They want to see you smiling in that picture, because that's what us, the lenders, that's what we're looking for when we're searching to whom we can loan our $25 or our $50. So that photo is super, super important. It's not going to be a photo of your product, of your store. You need to be in that picture, and you need to be, you know, just happy and smiling to inspire those who are looking at your profile to say, hey, I wanna support this business owner or this entrepreneur. Other than the picture, they're going to ask you about your story. You're going to share who you are and why you are creating this business, or why do you want to grow this business? What is this business about, and what you need that money for? The limits on what you can do with the money from a Kiva loan are quite wide, as long as it's legal and as long as you don't use this money to pay other debts. That's super, super important. As I mentioned a little bit earlier, your credit score is not a deal breaker here. It's not something that is going to affect your possibilities of getting a loan, but they are going to look at those numbers that you share in the application to make sure that you're in a financial position to be able to repay that loan. So just keep that in mind throughout the process. So let's say Pamela, because I see her picture right here, let's say Pamela applies for a Kiva loan, and she applies for $15,000. She fills out her application. Kiva is going to immediately respond with a pre-qualification. Most of the time that pre-qualification is just that, a pre-qualification, but it doesn't mean that that's the final number that they're going to approve. So she might get a message that she was pre-approved for $3,000. He was like, hi, Cristina, but I asked for 15. How come I get 3? And I'm going to tell Pamela, relax. Everything's going to be okay. your application is going to be reviewed by the Kiva team, and then they're going to give you the final amount of that approved loan, right? So just keep that in mind if you go through the process. Don't get scared or discouraged if you see a number lower than what you asked for. Because the application hasn't been evaluated yet by the team in California. Let's say Pamela does an amazing job with her application and she gets those $15,000 approved. So what happens next? The second stage of this process is the private stage, is the friends and family stage. And I think this is the most important test that you're going to go through in this process, because what you have to do is that Kiva is going to tell you to identify a certain amount of people from your friends and family circles to loan you a minimum of $25 through the platform, through Kiva. And the reason that they do that is because they believe that if your friends and family trust you enough to lend you $25, then why should all the people that are in the platform not do the same, right? So if your family and friends trust you, that means that I don't know you, I don't know who you are, I can trust you. So that's why they do that phase. The most important thing about that phase is not to raise X amount of that loan, it's to just get the quantity of people that Kiva asked you. So that number of people is going to depend on the amount of the loan that is approved. But to keep, going with Pamela's example of 15,000, let's say that Kiva tells her to identify 25 people. So she has to identify those 25 people in that private phase. And I don't want you guys to be scared of that phase. That's not as hard as it sounds. It's just important that you communicate and then you explain to your friends and family and the people you're reaching out to what you're doing, what your business is about, what this loan is about, and just remind them that it's a loan, that money you're going to pay them back for those $25. So it's just about communication, and don't worry. And if you're short of people, maybe you had to find 25 people and you only have 10, then just knock on our door in Causa Local and we'll do our best to help you identify the other 15 that you have to identify. So open communication is essential. Just let us know if you need support, and just make sure that you're able to explain to your family and friends why you're doing this and the impact that that loan is going to make on your business, and that you're going to pay them back. That's super important. Let's say that Pamela does an amazing job identifying those 25 people. What happens next? What happens next is the fundraising phase of it all, where your profile in Kiva is live for the whole world to see. And that's when you and your friends and family and us in Causa Local and supporting organization, I'm sure that World Central Kitchen can do something for you there as well, are going to share your profile to make sure that people see and people log in to loan you, a minimum of $25. So that's one of the biggest parts of what I talked to you about before, that marketing stage. A lot of people that don't know that you exist or that your business exists are going to find out, are going to see, and are going to engage with what you're doing with your service or your product or your business, and they're going to want to support you. So it's an incredible marketing opportunity for you as well. Let's say that Pamela does a great job again of fundraising, reaching her goal of 15,000. What happens next? Kiva is going to call her and say, Pamela, great job. This is what's going to happen in a week or so. You're going to get that money disbursed in your PayPal account. When you're applying, this is something I forgot to mention before, but you need to have a commercial PayPal account. All the transactions that are going to be done in Kiva are going to be done through PayPal. So if you don't have that commercial account or that business account, create it, because you're going to need it for Kiva. So Kiva is going to disburse those $15,000 in your PayPal account, and you can get that and do whatever it is that you said you needed to do with that money. Parting from that moment, you have a grace period of 6 months where you don't have to repay that loan just yet. And this is something that they're doing because of the COVID pandemic. They understand that everything is taking a lot more time now and business is really slow. So they're giving a break, of 6 months for people to kind of, get their foot on the ground and stabilize themselves to start repaying. So on the 7th month, after you receive that money, that's when you start repaying. You have up to 36 months to repay your loan. So let's say that Pamela, because this is the example, and she got her $15,000, she's going to be repaying around $416 monthly, and she's going to do that through Kiva. She's going to repay through PayPal to Kiva, and what Kiva is going to do is that Kiva is going to divide those $416 between all of us who lend some money to her. For example, if I lend Pamela $25, that means that every month she repays, I'm gonna get like $125 or $127, a little piece of my $25 until she finishes her repayment, and then I complete my $25 back. Okay, so that's how the repayment process is going to work. Again, I'm going to share with you the website so you guys can check it out. Look at the FAQs. The FAQs are always great to answer some questions that maybe you don't know you have, and just learn about the platform and how it can support you. I wanted to just quickly show you a couple of examples of the Puerto Ricans that have done this. As you saw in the video, this is something that goes, and applies to pretty much every industry. We have people from the creative industries, from agriculture, the food and food business. We have music, we have restaurants, we have all types of stores, we have book editorials and such. I want to quickly show you just a profile of one of our entrepreneurs. This is Gloriane from Etnica. So this is what her profile looks like. And you see that basic information, but you can see the reflection of her application here. Remember I told you guys that you needed to share your story? Well, here's Gloriane's story. Your story as the owner and the founder of that enterprise or that business. That's what people want to connect to and want to relate to. You also have to explain why this loan is important to you and express it in a way that is attractive for those of us who are looking to see whom we lend our money to. Again, you can see the business description and what the purpose of this loan is, some information about the company and the business. And then here you're going to see, the different people that lend her and the contributing teams and different countries. Something that happens in Kiva that is really cool is that people from all over the world are going to lend you money. And that can open many doors in terms of new partners, new collaborators, and possibly clients. And something that is also very cool is that when you're repaying your loan, you can send updates to those lenders. So for example, if you ask for this money to build a store or to clean up your farm or to create an online platform, you can just send updates about your progress, to those people who lend you money. And that makes me as a lender want to check out your social media and just become invested in your company and support you, and if I can, consume or buy your products or services. So I really want to emphasize that part of it because I think it's really, really important. But I'm going to stop sharing my screen now. Let me see if there are a couple of questions. I see one. PayPal fees. Cristina Frederick, wondering about the PayPal fees. Credit card fees, who pays this? So PayPal has an agreement with Kiva because Kiva is a nonprofit. They made this arrangement with PayPal that they don't ask for that usual fee that they do. So you don't have to worry about that part. I wanted to see if there are any other questions in the chat. I see no other questions.
If anyone has any questions, I think now's the time to channel them through.
Yeah, sure.
The chat open. Anyone that'd like to share a question, you have the question and answer or the chat. So I saw someone that was kind of raising their hand. So please feel free to share that via the chat so we can help you further.
In the meantime, where I see a raised hand here. Oh, it was Cristina. I think I got to answer her question.
Okay.
Well, I know that I gave you guys a lot of information and I showed you a website. I think the best way to learn about Kiva is through someone who has done it, and someone who has done it more than one time, because this is something really cool about Kiva, that once you repay your loan, you are able to apply for another Kiva loan. So keep that in mind. Repayment is important because if you do it well, you're able to get another loan on Kiva. So Roberto, if estás por ahí, if you're anywhere, in this space, this is Your moment. Hi,
down
Roberto.
here. Yeah, and if you don't do it, if you don't repay, then you cut your hands.
Yes,
you know,
yes.
you can no longer have access to this wonderful platform.
Yeah. So Roberto, tell us a bit about you. Tell us a bit about your amazing business and your brothers, and tell us about your experience with Kiva.
Yeah, so my name is Roberto Rivera, and I'm one of the co-founders of Molcajete Foods, or Tortillas Doña Lola. It's a local business in Puerto Rico, and we're a manufacturer of corn tortillas and chips. And we have been we have done Kiva twice already. And I was as you were speaking, Cristina, I was checking my borrower's profile, and we have repaid 33% already on this second loan. And I really, I really encourage you to, if you're having, if you're needing this money, and go ahead and do it. There's no fine print on Kiva, or I've heard, I've heard I've gotten questions before where people ask, or people say, this is too good to be good, and that ain't true. Kiva really works. Kiva, you can have a lot of confidence on the platform, and how it works, and you really get the money, and the people who lend you money, as long as you repay your loan, they'll get their money back. So that also, as you're looking for your 17 or 20 or 25 close friends and family who need to back you up before your loan opens to the global platform, you can let them know that, that you're putting 100 or 200% on your business idea, or whatever you're pursuing, and that you're gonna get their money back when you start repaying their loan, the loan. I don't know if you have any questions, Cristina, something
Yeah,
specific you want me to share,
absolutely. I think
or questions from the audience. Yeah.
I wanted to address, Cristina asked another question that was really interesting. She mentioned, if I remember correctly, that what happens if your products, that you're fundraising for your company only sells locally. How does that play into the internationality or global aspect of it? And I told her that it doesn't really matter. The people that are looking to support your business, are not looking necessarily to buy your product. It's something that happens, organically. But I hope that answers your question, Cristina. And I wanted to ask you, Roberto, some of the things that we hear from people that are curious about Kiva but are tentative about it, is particularly that part of asking for money from your friends and family. And I wanted you to share, how you handle that process, because I would love for people to not be afraid of that. It's actually a very important part of being a business owner and entrepreneur, being able to speak about your product, and mostly when it's a loan that you're going to be repaying. So Roberto, if you can elaborate a little bit on your experience in that phase of the process.
Yeah, sure. So I just shared the profile for our second loan is on the webinar chat. If you want to go ahead and check it out, and you can verify everything that Cristina set up about having a great picture. The storytelling is very important. And you can see the amount of lenders who lends us money, and the people, their locations, where they're located, and also whether they're part of any contributing team or not. And from the toughest part in all this process is convincing your your friends and family about your business idea. And and the reason Kiva does this, because Kiva is not charging any interest on your loan. It's not also backing up the loan with like organizations money. So if you default in it by any reason, Kiva won't put back the money that people gave you. That kind of, you know, get lost in the universe. Uh, so the reason, you know, and they're also not asking you for a lot of paperwork and to verify whether uh you have, you know, like you have the money in your bank account, or whether you're gonna have the, you know, enough cash flow uh to repay the loan. And it's a very quick process. Like, you know, we raise all this money in about 72 hours, compared to traditional banking, where you go through a 30-day plus process to verify everything you have before they agree on giving you any dollar. Uh, so as you can see, confidence is 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 a is a is a key part in all this process. Uh, and that's why it's very important that you convince your friends and family or people you know around uh, to give you money. And the minimum amount they need to lend you is $25.
Yeah. So to add a little bit to what you're saying, Roberto, it's in terms of the time frame of what it can take for you to get this money on your side. It can be very, very quickly. We have a lot of entrepreneurs that, you know, submit their application, they get evaluated within a week or 2 weeks at most. And then they're posted that private part, that friends and family part, on Friday. By Saturday or Sunday, they are done with that. And then between Monday and Wednesday, they already raised their whole loan. We have entrepreneurs that have done it really quickly. We have others that take a little bit more time. But in essence, it's something that is not going to take over 2 months, you know, to give you an example. And I'm being very generous with the time frame. Once you get to that goal, Kiva is going to be in touch with you, and they're going to disburse that money into your account, and that's it. You know, it's a very expedite process. I wanted to go back quickly and thank you so much, Cristina, for asking so many questions. I love it.
Yeah, I'm gonna add to what we're saying. So it's very important, you know, if Cristina says have a wonderful picture, do it. If Cristina says you need to have a beautiful storytelling, do it.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that she says, you just do it. Just say. The reason is if you complete your application the way it's needed, then it kind of falls into a fast track.
Mm-hmm.
And then the application is reviewed, and you know, everything that needs to be done behind scenes by Kiva and the organization, everything runs smoothly, and then you can get your application up in the system in about a week if you have done everything that's needed. Second, when the application is gonna go live, Kiva lets you know. Someone in Kiva sends you an email. They also can give you a call in additional to the email, to let you know that the application is up in the system, and now you can share the link among your friends and family, so they can start lending you money, and then you can reach the amount of initial lenders in family and friends that you need to have before the application goes live worldwide. And when that happens, like, you know, don't worry whether, you know, you take 24 hours or even 48 hours to complete that initial step among your family and friends. When the application, what I've seen based on my experience, when both of my applications have gone open worldwide in the Kiva platform, um, it has been it got fully funded very quickly. Um, and once it gets funded 100%, then if you already worked the step of creating the PayPal account, uh, you're gonna get the money transfer rate quickly as well. Otherwise, if you haven't completed that step, then you need to create the account, and that's gonna take a few days as well, because PayPal needs to do some verification on your identity before they grant you access or complete access to the account. And that needs to happen before you get the money. And then the money, once that happens, then the money gets transferred, and then you can transfer that into a normal bank account or whatever you want to do to start using that money for the purposes that you put on the application.
Yeah, I'm showing all the different entrepreneurs here in Puerto Rico that have done this. Cristina, hopefully you can see this, but as you can see, not all photos are professionally taken. Some are selfies, some are just pictures that family members or some friends got from you. So you don't have to worry about that. If you're in a position where you want to get a nice professional photo like the ones that Roberto and his brothers have, which is beautiful, that's amazing, but it's not absolutely necessary. Don't let that be a barrier, because look at Angela, that's just as simple as that. It doesn't really need to be a professional picture. I have someone here as well that is just a selfie of him and his son on their farm. So don't get too complicated with that. It's just that people want to see your face, and they want to connect with you. This is not like a shopper where you're just like flipping through products or companies. This is something that you want to connect with those people that are making those businesses happen and that need that support. So that's why that photo is important, and that's why it doesn't have to be all or just clean and professionally done. So don't worry about that. Any other questions? While our audience thinks about other questions, Roberto, I wanted to ask you about you briefly touched on the internationality part of it and the people from other parts of the world that lend you money. I wanted to ask you about that experience. What did it feel like for you to see people from other parts of the world that didn't really know who you are or what you were doing support you? And do you see that they have become some sort of collaborators or partners or potential clients? Talk to us a little bit about that part.
Sure. So I put the link to the first profile, so you guys can compare the pictures. We use that professional picture on the second loan, because we took that picture, somewhere or somehow as we were running the business. We also use that picture for social media and other purposes. So for the second loan, I already had that picture in my computer, but you can see the picture that we took for the first loan that we got through Kiva, and in both loans we got a lot of support from people internationally, and many of your lenders, they do follow you, so you can type in messages and updates and send it to them, and they'll reply to it. you can start a conversation and even build relationships, whether you know that lender is open to it or not. Um, but you know, something that I really like from Kiva, and that is very unique to Kiva, is this you know, like you get to see and share your story with people internationally, and I mean, if they fall in love with your story and your business idea, and that's kind of that feels really cool.
Absolutely, absolutely. So guys, come on, any questions, any concerns that you have? I know that a lot of people feel like this is something that's too good to be true. How come it's 0% interest? That sounds like a little bit fishy. But I'm sharing with you all the examples that we have, and if you have any other questions, I'm going to put in my email again so you can reach out to us and ask whatever questions you need to ask. This is something that is an amazing tool, you know, for your business, and even if you have a nonprofit, you know, you can apply for a Kiva loan as long as you have some capital to repay with. And again, like I mentioned in the very beginning, if you don't feel comfortable yet asking or applying for a loan, become a lender. You know, get $25 from your accountant, choose an entrepreneur. It can be from your community, it can be from wherever you want, whatever industry you're interested in. If you're interested in women entrepreneurs, you can filter your search by women entrepreneurs and such. So I invite you to do that so you can get to know the platform, and particularly as a lender, because that way when you apply for a loan and you're explaining to those friends and family, you know, why you're doing this and what the process is, and you can, you know, talk about it as a lender